Okay, so here we are. Thank you so much, Sam, for joining us today. We are going to talk about the Hometown Heroes housing program that was just recently launched. I think there's $100 million that Governor DeSantis signed in.
$100 million. Yes, sir.
Man,
It's a lot
that's
of money.
awesome. So today we've got Sam Royer with Heroes First Home Loans. He's an absolute rock star with what he does for the hero community. He is a loan officer that's been in the industry for over 20 years. He's a Marine Corps veteran, and he's been my loan officer mentor. He's been telling me all kinds of stuff. I'm a realtor, but anything that has to do with real estate, I go with Sam, and he talks to me about everything that I need to know about VA, FHA, conventional, or, just we just need to kind of shoot the breeze about the old sea
I'm getting
story.
old, brother. It's 25 years now.
25
I would
years?
say 25 years, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm feeling it too, man. I'm feeling it. Oh
Man, that's awesome. So
no, I'm excited. This is exciting stuff, Eric. Everybody should be excited out there because, living in the free state of Florida, it's one of those things that the governor and, all the legislators really understand what first responders and individuals that serve in our community go through. In our title, just like in yours, Heroes is in our name. So obviously we have to be pretty focused on this. But the fact that now there's an opportunity for these individuals to get money in the event they need it for down payment and closing costs, there's a program now out there for them. So let's kick it off. What do you want?
So maybe just like in a brief snapshot, what is the Hometown Heroes program?
So basically what it does, it gives individuals that serve, and there's a plethora of different job titles, but let's just break it down pretty simply. Law enforcement, firefighting, education, education teachers, healthcare workers, even to the point that I think I saw a massage therapist on there. But literally anybody that serves in our community in capacities where they have a license, that is something that these individuals, when they go to a lender like us, so we are an approved lender, we go out and we qualify those individuals. If those qualifications, as long as they fall under the licensing requirements, then what we can do is, based off their other qualifications, which we'll talk about, we can go up to 5% or $25,000, whichever is lower. So if they're buying a $300,000 house, there is $15,000 on the table that they can get. It's free money, but there is a catch. They do have to pay it back. So it's free money now, and it's free money over the term that they actually have the money. But at the end of the day, they still have to pay it back. So that $15,000, you're not going to have a monthly payment on it. Interest isn't going to accrue on it. But let's say 5 years down the road, you decide to sell your house. That $15,000 has to get paid off when you sell your house. Let's say 10 years down the road, you choose to refinance your house. Well, then that $15,000 has to be paid off. Let's say 29 and a half years down the road, you pay off your mortgage early, which we hope you paid off a lot sooner. Well, okay, let's say 20 years. Let's say 20 years you pay off your house. That $15,000 has to be paid back. So it's an interest-free loan through the state of Florida where they actually, have backed this by $100 million that's out there.
So it's not like a second mortgage that's taken out and you have to pay on that one monthly. It's just...
No, you don't pay anything, Eric. It is a second mortgage, so there is a lien on your house, but you don't have to pay anything. It's literally just sitting there in limbo. And now you do have the opportunity. You can pay it back whenever you want. If 2 years into it, your parents pass away, let's say, and you get an inheritance, you can pay the loan back, and then you're less, you don't have more debt. But it is a 0% loan, so you're not accruing interest or anything. So Florida is not trying to make money off of this. They're trying to truly help individuals get into their homes. So that's it.
So is this like a specific type of loan, or is this available for like FHA, VA, conventional, or is this like something else that's backed up?
So it's a great question. So it basically goes on top of. So what I would do, Eric, if you came to me and you said, hey, I want to buy a house, right? We know that you are a Navy man. So you served honorably in the United States Navy as an officer. So I can sit there and I can offer you up this type of financing. And what I mean by this type of financing is you still have to qualify for a VA home loan, which you would, or an FHA loan, or a conventional loan. And then this money that goes on top of that is just a secondary loan that's on top of your FHA, VA, or conventional mortgage. So it's kind of called, the old term used to be called piggyback. It's called a piggyback loan. So that loan is sitting there, But again, you're not paying interest and you're not making monthly payments on it.
So the qualification process is essentially, if I'm hearing correctly, the same. So like if I was going to just do a VA loan, I'm going to come to Sam Royer, get qualified with you, and then we're going to have this second loan, the Hometown Heroes portion of it, and piggyback on top of yours.
That is correct. Now, some of the caveats, right? You have to have at least a 640 credit score or above. So VA can go lower than that. But for this program, you have to have a 640 or above. Now, if you have a 680 or above, you can have a higher debt ratio. So debt ratio is just how much you make compared to how much you pay out a month, right? So if you're a 640 to 679, the maximum you can go is 45%. If you're over a 680, you can actually go to 50%, which, with housing prices, obviously your payments might be a little bit higher because Florida is rising in prices. Well, at the end of the day, these individuals, they do have that leeway. So it does pay to have better credit.
Oh, that's a good deal. Now,
wait, can I wow you with something else?
What's that?
Can I wow you with something else?
Yeah, definitely.
The income limits for this, right? Many, doing this 25 years, I've been around the block where I've seen a lot of down payment assistance programs, right? And a lot of them are geared towards individuals that are more in a lower income bracket or lower tier. But this program, literally, Eric, $118,950 is the income limit, right? Now, the cool thing about it, from my understanding, let's say Eric and Katie, which Katie is your wife. So Eric and Katie decide to buy a house. Well, Eric, you decide to just be the one on the loan. We are only using your income. We are not using Katie's. That is different than a lot of other programs. A lot of other programs, they actually combine the household income. You can have a 16-year-old kid or a 17-year-old child living at your house. If they make $20,000 a year as a side job, you technically are supposed to count that income on other programs. Hometown Heroes isn't like that.
That's super cool.
So it's just for the individual that's on the loan.
Got it. Is there a loan limit as how much I can take out with this loan?
Yep. So whatever the loan limits are for like FHA, the loan limit, I believe, let's talk about Duval County, is $432,400, right? So that's the loan amount limit for an FHA loan. Now, Eric, being a veteran, you go get a VA loan. The loan limit for that is $647,200. Now, that VA actually doesn't have a loan limit anymore, but they've instituted the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are conventional conforming guidelines. They're kind of following that, and VA and conventional can go up to that 647. Now, remember the math, right? The maximum loan is $25,000 or 5%, whichever is lower. So that means if you're buying a $600,000 house, you can only get the $25,000 because 5% of $500,000 is $25,000. $600,000 would technically be $30,000, but you can only go up to $25,000.
Gotcha. And so a quick question for you. So, and this would probably be for realtors right here, real estate agents. So if we're writing a contract, is there anything different that I need to write in the contract saying that I'm using the Hometown Heroes program, or is it just kind of behind the scenes? It doesn't even matter.
So actually, that's a great question for people to answer below. If you're a real estate broker, how are you having your agents do it? Because I haven't actually gotten that answer yet, but I have challenged some agents to ask their brokers that question. Are you required to actually put in there, VA Hometown Heroes, or are you just writing VA? FHA Hometown Heroes, or is it just FHA? Because at the end of the day, these people, hopefully, whoever's qualifying for this, hopefully they have money in reserves, because we don't want to put people in homes that they can't somehow buy, right, or pay for in the event of an emergency. What happens if somebody loses their job, right? Not that many of these industries are very stable, because you look at cops, teachers, firefighters, and EMTs, they're keeping their jobs through pandemic or economic downturn. So I think that's why, too, and I'm just assuming here, that's probably why the state of Florida said, let's honor these people, and there's not a lot of risk because most of them are going to keep their jobs. Right. So I don't know if that answers your question, but you know what, brokers, if you're listening to this, comment below and just let us know what would you do? Are you telling your agents to write it in there?
Yeah. Another question I have for you, and just kind of hearing about it, it's similar to other, programs where they help first-time home buyers get into homes, and just so we can clear up, the Hometown Heroes program is a first-time home buyer program, correct?
Well, there's a caveat. Are you ready for this? A couple caveats. I don't know where that word popped in my head. So if you're a military member or a veteran, guess what the first time homebuyer requirement is? There isn't one.
For
There's
brethren,
none.
but military there is,
Nope.
right?
So Eric, your house, you can go sell your house tomorrow and you can get the hometown hero loan the next house you buy because veteran and military members are exempt from it. Now, also, I'm pretty sure, and I'm sorry if I'm quoting, IRS regulations talk about a first-time home buyer is truly defined as somebody that hasn't had their primary residence within the last 3 years. So if you owned a house 4 years ago, you sold it, and let's say you rented for 3.5 years, you're considered a first-time home buyer. So you would qualify for this. Now, the interesting part, and I still have to get a little bit more clarification on this, but let's say, Eric, you own a house, but you rented it out for the last 4 years, right? And it's not your primary residence and you just decided to rent. So as a great example, somebody gets relocated, let's say. Well, you're technically considered a first-time homebuyer program from what this program talks about in their guidelines. So we have to go back and look now. Most down payment assistance programs, they go by what the tax returns say. So we have to get 3 years of tax returns normally. This program doesn't require us to do that. It's whatever is stated on the application. So they're very trusting at this point. And I truly hope nobody takes advantage of it. I hope they nail anybody to the wall that tries to take advantage of it, because this is something that the state of Florida is backing people up that serve in their communities. And everybody should be shouting it from the rooftop. Unfortunately, because, and I'm going to talk about, politics. I love politics, but, the compensation per loan is not as much as a traditional loan. So there are certain lenders that they're not going to offer this. They're just not going to, because there's no profitability for them. For us, Eric, what's in the name of our companies?
Heroes.
So we have to serve them. It doesn't matter. It's not always about profit. We are going to thrive. We're blessed beyond you guys are, we are. So at the end of the day, this is something we want to do for people. We want to help them out. It's important.
Yeah. I was reading somewhere about
them, right?
What's that?
Where would our country be without these individuals
who
serve our communities?
I was reading somewhere that for the first time for the Hometown Heroes program, you also have to do a buyer's course. Is there something to it? Okay.
Yeah, there's a class, and actually most of the time you can take it online.
Okay.
So it's kind of nice. But you want to definitely knock that out beforehand. The other thing, if you're working with a lender, if it's not us, you want to make sure all your certifications are done up front, because there is an attestation. It's basically you're certifying that you are who you are in your profession. So that's something that has to get done beforehand. But, at the end of the day, look, there are some people that this sounds really good. They might not need it. Like I just had a client that they had almost $80,000 in the bank. All right. That I think they're buying a $300 and some odd $1,000 house, but let's just use $15,000. Is that $15,000 at 0% interest really going to break their bank? Or would it be better for them to possibly just put 20% down on a new house, not have that secondary loan, and not have mortgage insurance? Yes, it is. So this program truly has been set up for individuals that are struggling, trying to, they make $50,000 a year, but it's very difficult to save, the 3 to 5 to 10% down that Fannie, Freddie, or FHA might require. Now, VA, the nice thing about VA, this will help offset some of those individuals that were used to getting seller assist, where now it's not really that existent because a lot of sellers aren't accepting it. So now that fills in that gap of where, like my house, Eric, when I bought my house, I'm not shy, it was $350,000, right? It cost about, I think it was like $7,000 to $8,000 I needed for closing. My seller paid it all. That was in the negotiation, right? Now it's a little bit harder to do that. So this can actually offset that need. So a lot of offers, I hope agents out there aren't pushing FHA and VA offers aside, but this truly should help. And it should not be looked at as a deterrent. If your lender is saying these people qualify for it, if you have any trust in your lender, you should be able to roll with it and not be worried like, oh my gosh, there's another layer of risk. It truly is a benefit for these individuals. Let's not take it away from them because we're so we just want the easy offer. These people work hard for what they do. And they look at 3 o'clock in the morning, Eric, if something happens to your child, who are you going to call? right? You're calling 911, and those individuals qualify for this program too. Those individuals sit behind 6 to 8 screens for 12 hours a day, listening to some of the most horrible things in the world. You don't think they should have a home to live in the community they serve?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
That's why
I think that's what this program is
so
trying to do, right? It's just trying to get our heroes to live in the communities they serve.
You got it. So I have national legislation we're trying to get passed. The reason we really pushed out on it is because there are people that can't buy in the areas they live. I mean, look at the Capitol Police. We have the endorsement of the Capitol Police, right? All those individuals that live in Washington, do you know how many of them can't afford a house in Washington? Pretty much most of them.
Yeah.
So something like this, it might help. It might help them get closer. But at the end of the day, don't you want more people living there? Unfortunately, our society has mass casualties in a lot of ways. Don't you want people to be closer so that possibly that 1 or 2 lives could be saved? So,
yeah. Another question for you regarding the actual loan itself. Is the interest rate any higher or lower or anything with the?
So basically, I have to look at today. I didn't pull up today. I should have before the call, and I'm sorry. Basically their rate can change every day. We normally have 45. We have max 60 days to deliver the loan. So really, the cool thing about this is that, you know how people say you can shop lenders? Well, in this scenario, it's all the exact same product. So there's not really, I'm going to go to lender A, B, and C. If they're getting this mortgage, right, the rate is the standard across the board. Doesn't matter if you go with lender A or lender Z. Whatever the Hometown Heroes rate is, that's the rate you're getting.
Okay. So, okay, gotcha.
And you can't buy the interest rate down either. The rate is what it is.
So you're saying Hometown Heroes has its own interest rate versus everybody, the other loan products?
Yeah. So what happens, Eric? Just like we talked about with VA, conventional, and FHA, all those loans are funded, and then technically U.S. Bank, who's a major bank in the country, actually I think in the world, they are the ones that actually are going to be servicing these loans. So we do the mortgages, but at the end of the day, they're going to go to them. They're the ones, they set the rates with the Florida housing, and then ultimately that's what we have to offer.
Gotcha. Another question too, since we work with a lot of military that are PCSing into the area, for the person buying the home, do they have to be a Florida resident to qualify for Hometown Heroes, or is it as long as their primary residence is here?
No, primary resident. Actually, that's actually a great question. I'm going to ask the director of that. I'm going to shoot him an email. I'm pretty positive it's wherever your duty station is. Yeah, okay. I think you still can have, because like I know I had my Pennsylvania license for the years I served. So you probably had California, right?
No, Florida.
Oh, did you really?
Okay. Yeah. I had a Florida, when I was stationed here back in 2006.
Gotcha. Yeah, I kept my Pennsylvania when I was in Georgia and everywhere else.
Yeah. So yeah, I definitely would be interested to know that. Just because I know this is not used for investment properties. This is primary residence.
Definitely primary residence. Yeah. But it can be used for, like, if you're buying a 2, 3, or 4 unit and you're going to live in one, then you can actually use it for that as well. You just have to live there, and do not lie about living there, because they will whack you pretty hard.
Yeah.
So
this program sounds awesome. So just like a quick recap on the program itself. We understand that it's essentially a piggyback loan on top of your first mortgage, that it's 5% or up to $25,000, whichever is lower.
Yep.
And you said there's a 0% interest. So it doesn't accrue interest, and you don't have to make monthly payments on it. You just paid at the time you sell your property.
Correct. Sell your property. Hold on. Sell your property
or refinance.
Refinance your property. Now, this is one negative. I'm sorry I'm cutting you off, but there is one not negative. But people have to remember, housing prices have appreciated pretty heavily in Florida, right? Some people are pulling money out so that they can pay off other debt, send a kid to college or whatnot. Remember, if you refinance, you're going to have to pay off that second mortgage. So don't forget that it's there, because I have had that in my 25 years. I've had situations where people refinance. They totally forgot about the program that they used 9 years earlier to help them get into the home, and that money's sitting there. So if you're refinancing as well, it has to get paid off. But you can pay it off. Again, if you hit the lotto, your parents leave you money, or you get a big bonus and you just want to get rid of it, the state of Florida will take that money. They would love to get it off their books so they can lend it to another hero. So you can pay it. You don't have to wait the whole term. You can pay it off whenever you want.
Perfect.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you.
Yeah, no worries. That's Sam. If you haven't watched their videos together, Sam, he's a Marine.
Yeah.
So we forgive him.
Yeah. But
I think that's all I've got right there. Unless you have any other worries. I think this is a great program. We can drop a link for the actual website that has all the information for.
They actually have a great job. They did a great job on the website and stuff and the information. And it's not rocket science. I just really hope people don't push offers away or people away if they see that, if it is required that they list that on the contract. I hope nobody looks at it as anything special, because it's such an honor that the state of Florida has recognized these individuals and that the state of Florida has their back. And I mean, Governor DeSantis and others, politics aside, when they stand behind their word of who they care about in the communities, I mean, that means the world to anybody. And it does. That's why everybody's flooding to Florida, because they actually appreciate you being an American person serving. So, military service is great. Eric, you and I love being veterans, correct?
Yeah.
But these people that serve in our community, I'm going to have a couple calls this week, and some of the police officers are going to be on the call. 27, 28 years in law enforcement. Their lives are on the line for many of those years. There is no reason programs like this come out. They should be honored with these programs, and nobody should bat an eye and be sad that, this offer might not be as strong because of it. They should embrace it and be thankful that that person's moving into that community.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm assuming this money is probably going to run out pretty quickly, so act fast.
Well, that's the thing, though. I think even if it did run out quick, Eric, I think they'll reauthorize more money, because, I mean, you're putting people into homes, and right now with affordability, it's needed. And there are some people that aren't going to qualify for it. Unfortunately, a lot of younger generations, they'll become a firefighter and then buy a big truck with a $700 a month payment. And yet their income isn't that high, so their debt ratio is off. So unfortunately, you still have to be financially savvy in your world. You have to have credit. You have to have some collateral. Collateral always helps with your approvability and your capacity to repay. That's the biggest part. They want to make sure they're not over lending. They're not putting somebody in harm's way by over lending to them. So that's why the safeguards are there.
Awesome.
So.
Well, guys, that's pretty much it. We're wrapping up Hometown Heroes housing program. Sam is qualified, and these are approved lenders for this program. So you can reach out to it at sam@heroesfirst.com. He will have all his information there. You can reach out.
And disclaimer, Eric, we're actually under Churchill Mortgage. That's our parent company. So if somebody looks it up, they're like, "Hey, this guy's a fake." No, our parent company is Churchill Mortgage. They are approved. We have a DBA, doing business as Heroes First Home Loans, so we are authorized to do it.
Do you have to throw your MLS in there too?
And they're like, Eric, you had some con man on there.
Yeah.
So.
Did you say you have to throw in your NMLS in there?
525750 is my NMLS. That means there's 52,000. What is that? 50? Wait, yeah. Oh, I can't even do the math. 525,000 other loan officers out there in the world.
Yeah.
So, no.
Well, we appreciate it, Sam.
Awesome,
Thank you so much for all of your information and your insight on the program.
Thanks for always having me, Eric.
Keep helping out our heroes here in Florida and across the country.
Yeah, I'm trying, man. You too.
All right, brother. Take care.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.